Alright, this is a review of the Arcteryx Atom LT hoodie. First off, let me start. The base layer that I have on right now is a Polartec Power Dry hoodie. It's made by Cabela's. It does a really good job of moisture management. The other day I went for a hike up on the mountain, and I started out, it was 9 degrees, and the temperatures eventually rose to, I think, 25. And starting out, I had a 20-pound pack on, and it's a very energetic hike, so I'm expending a lot of energy and sweating a lot. And I did that on purpose just to see how well the jacket would dry out. After a couple of miles, I started slowing down and taking some pictures, crawling down to the creeks, spending a lot of time just taking pictures. And the jacket, you could definitely tell it started to dry out quite well, actually, really fast too. I'm comparing this to Polartec or Permaloft 1 insulation. I've used that, and I think it's an excellent insulation. It's really impressed me as far as synthetics go. But this jacket is very comparable. It takes probably 30 minutes or so of if you're wearing the jacket for it to dry out. At least that was my experience. Now, that's not saturated from rain or anything. That's saturated from sweat, and it does a really good job. And you never really get cold in it if you're sweating. So I never had that, okay, now I'm done expending a lot of energy and my body's starting to cool down and I get cold. No, the jacket just sort of released all the sweat, and I stayed comfortable the entire time. In fact, I got more comfortable once I started cooling down because I wasn't sweating anymore, and the jacket you could feel it dry out. All the moisture is being whipped away from your body. And this combination, this layering approach with the powder dry and the Arcteryx jacket worked really well. So about the jacket, the zipper, it doesn't really stay in place. That can be a bad thing, not necessarily. The hood, it's a pretty decent hood. Arcteryx has designed it to go under a helmet, and I believe if it's under a helmet, it would probably turn with you quite well. But if you don't have a helmet on, you turn your head and it turns inside the hood. So I personally don't like that so much. But the hood's there. It's a good option to have, and it's not very thick. You can actually roll it down. It's easier if you take the jacket off and have it flipped in when you put the jacket on. But if you have the hood flipped in, well, if I can get it on, as such, you don't really feel it on your back, and that's a plus. I mean, you can tuck it in and have basically a hoodless jacket. I have a hood from my hoodie on, but you can see it's not really bulky. If you were wearing another hooded jacket, it would do a good job with that, and you don't really notice it. The best thing, one of my favorite characteristics about this jacket is how light it is. When I was hiking, once I got to the top of the mountain, you really don't feel like you're wearing a jacket. You're running around in 15-degree weather or colder. It's probably colder on top. I'm guessing it's probably still single digits up there, and I'm not cold. I'm comfortably warm. I'm not really expending a lot of energy up here because I'm at the top already. I'm just sort of playing around on the ice and stuff. Not doing anything too extreme. No constant climbing or anything. But I'm bushwhacking, so I don't feel like I'm wearing a big bulky jacket that's snagging all the branches, and that part I love. The pockets on this jacket are up high enough that you can wear a pack with them quite well. The cuffs on this jacket, they're elastic and they stretch and they fit really good, but I did notice they're a little bit of a pain with gloves if you're going to try to remove the jacket or something. You may or may not ever be taking the jacket off, but this is one of those jackets that you can probably leave on all day long, and if you start sweating, you can still leave it on, and then 20 minutes after you stop the activity, it's going to dry out. But getting the jacket over top of a pair of gloves, even a thin pair, can be a little hassling, especially if you have another pair of gloves on. Let's see, the hem on this jacket, it does a good job. You have two adjusters here. The cut is a little long, and you can see it's very form-fitting. I like that personally. If you are going to wear just a typical t-shirt, something that's not a very form-fitting, like a cheaper type shirt, if they have like a US long or just wider sleeve, they're going to bulk up under this jacket. Now, I am 150 pounds, 40-inch chest, or 153 pounds, 40-inch chest, and 5'11", and if you have a normal cut t-shirt, say something like like this, with just like that kind of sleeve, that sleeve is going to bulk up and you're going to feel it under the armpits. So if you want this as an everyday jacket, you may want to size up, and I know several people that have the jacket and they have it in a larger size. And I happen to have a large here with me as well, so I'll put that on and let you see what that looks like. Now that was the medium. This is the Arcteryx hoodie in a large, and it's the green color. Now the zippers on this jacket are very easy to manipulate, so if that's an issue for you, if you have a problem with zippers, then you shouldn't have any issue with these at all. But this is the large version. You can see it's not huge on me. I mean, it's got enough room in here you could layer with it quite well, but for my purposes, I wanted more anatomically fit jackets that I could put other layers over top of it more easily. So my choice is the medium, and you're only going to wear this with either like heat gear type shirts or something that's more form-fitting. I mean, like an athletic shirt, something like this, that'll be fine, because this is such a thin material that you're not going to notice it like you would cotton, even if it is larger sleeves. But those work quite well. This jacket does layer with the Montane North Star, something that people I've read online that said that you can't layer this jacket very well. Well, I think this is an excellent layering option for 3 jackets. It fits. I mean, it's starting to get a little tight in the arms, but it's not really compressing the down too much. Actually, I don't think it's compressing it at all, to be honest. It feels, but it is, but this is pretty much the max that you could get under this jacket. If you want to use the Atom more so as just a shell, you will notice that it has the breathable panels on the side. Now this can be a plus and a minus. I think this is where Arcteryx messed up myself. I like the fleece. I like the idea of the stretch to mobility, so when you're climbing or moving and contorting, that it stretches and moves with you. But they could have used a windproof fleece. There's plenty of windproof fleeces on the market or very wind-resistant fleeces on the market that they're still going to stretch and move with you, but they're going to block 98% of the wind or something like that, and you're not going to have just frigid cold temperatures. When I did hike to the top of the mountain, like I said, the temperatures were teens or below, and there were some 40-mile-an-hour gusts. And when I'm walking into them, facing forward, I do have my pockets zipped up all the time, unless I don't put my hands in my pockets. But the wind hitting you in the face, that wasn't too bad. Like, it kind of deflected and went around you. But when I turned sideways and the wind hit the side, these panels, it blew straight through my body, and I was cold instantly. I had to throw on the Montane jacket just to warm up. I mean, it instantly cooled me off. And you can see the inside. It does have a nice fleece lining, so it's not going to pick too bad on the outside. But all in all, it's a pretty good jacket. I could see where this would be beneficial if you are climbing and there's like slight 15-mile-an-hour winds, or if it's warmer temperatures where you might want that blow-through ventilation, something like that. But with these newer synthetic insulations and how well they manage moisture and how well the jacket just dries out, I'm not really sure that this is a good idea. I would probably go with something either windproof or just keep this material all the way around and just make it completely windproof. Yeah, well, I guess that would eliminate the stretch, but you could at least replace these panels with like a windproof fleece, and that would bump this to a 5-star rating for me. So the positives to review, well, the hood's a little bit of a negative in my opinion. Doesn't turn with you. The outer material is really light. The jacket feels like you're wearing air. It's very form-fitting, so you don't feel like you're really wearing a jacket, more so just a heavy shirt or a thicker shirt, not really heavy, because you don't really feel like you're wearing a jacket at all. Zipper does move on you, so if that's an issue, like if you were going to bike or something and you're wearing this jacket, it would probably creep open on you. If you have issues with wind, if you're going to be doing some summiting and stuff, these panels are going to cool you off quickly. That can either be good or bad. It just depends on your application. And I guess that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know.